Alright guys, it's now Tuesday afternoon, and we're just going to start tracing that red wire that's burnt back to the dash panel, and we'll see if we can fix that up. So we'll start right here. It looks like it might be okay ahead of that, so we're going to start back here. We're going to start untaping the harness, and we're going to go all the way back into the passenger compartment. Alright guys. So guys, I've decided to remove the harness at least partially from the car. So we've got it out of the driver's side and back inside the passenger compartment and moved over to the passenger side. Anyway, we're sort of making our way back through there, disconnecting a bunch of stuff and labeling as we go. So hopefully we'll be able to put it back together. Alright guys, we followed that wire all the way up from the engine compartment all the way up to behind the dash, and you can see where the problem is way back in there, and you can see it's pretty bare. I've torn off a lot of the insulation as I've sort of gone along, and for the most part everything else looks to be pretty good up here. There's a few inspections I need to do. That's where the red wires were together and the insulation has sort of melted off the one wire onto the other. It's not through the wire, although I'll do a little closer inspection on that before I reconnect everything up. But anyway, I've got to get in there and disconnect this red wire in here, and we'll run a new red wire down and out through the harness. Alright guys, so there's the culprit. All that because of this one wire and me wanting to check the rear signal lights. Yeah, that will be smarter next time. Thank God I had a quick disconnect on the battery, otherwise the whole harness probably would have melted. So I decided to replace a couple of short sections of wire. These are the two sections I cut out that were sort of adjacent to that one wire that was on fire. So I've just cut those out. I've soldered that in, and I'm going to throw a little piece of shrink tube over top of it. So that should be good to go for those two pieces. So those are the worst looking pieces out of the whole harness that were adjacent to the one that melted. So that gives me a little bit more peace of mind. So we'll shrink tube those up, and we'll move on. Just coming up to 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, and we made some pretty good progress today. We've got the harness pretty much installed. We've just got to clean up the wiring runs inside here. We've got everything connected back up. I did actually test a few things to make sure they're working. I tested the horn and I tested the rear lights that started this whole thing, so no smoke, which was good. I did do one bonehead move, and that was to install the harness below the steering shaft. You're not going to be able to see that, but below the steering shaft or the steering column, so when it should have been above. Now that meant that I was going to have to disconnect all my wiring out front here again and pull the harness back through, and I wasn't about to do that because I've got shrink wrapped connections in here, I've got soldered connections in here, and I definitely didn't want to redo that. So I ended up pulling out the steering shaft and putting the wires back up over the shaft, and then reinserting the shaft and tightening everything up. So that was a bit of extra work, but it worked out okay, and I won't make that mistake again, hopefully anyway. So that's it for tonight guys. We'll upload this, and we'll get out here tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler out here again. It was just a scorcher out here and buckets of sweat. Anyway guys, that's it for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.